Okay, we're on page 303 in your Go Math books, and we are solving the equations, and we're actually solving these algebra equations, and we're going to do something called opposite land. Now, I know you can solve these problems by mental math, but what we want to do is we want to set them up correctly, so when when we're not able to solve them mentally, then we sort of know the system to actually solve the problem. And here's the system that we use. We kind of take a little line, we make a line there, and then we make a line there. Now what we want to do is we want to isolate the variable. The variable is x, and we're adding 5 to it. So we want to do the inverse operation. The inverse operation of adding 5 would be subtract 5. So then we get our x by itself. Now because we subtract 5 on this side of the equation, we also, in order to keep things balanced, we need to subtract 5 from the other side of the equation. 7 minus 5 gives us 2, and therefore x would be equal to 2. Now, one thing that we do want students to do is we want them to go back to the original problem. The original problem is x plus 5 equals 7, and then we want to plug in what we think x is. And therefore, if you check your work, 2 plus 5 equals 7, and I check my work and I have done that problem correctly. Now, the problem with doing it mentally is we're not picking up the system, or not picking up how to actually solve the problem. So I'm going to show you a couple more. Same thing. This is number 2. They are adding 1. We need to do the opposite of add 1, which is subtract 1. The 1's cancel each other off. I bring my x down. If I subtract 1 on that side, I need to subtract 1 on this side. My answer is 7 equals x. If I want to go back and check my work, I need to plug the 7 in. Here's my original problem. I need to plug my 7 in. 7 plus 1 equals 8, and it does check out. Okay, last one, x plus 2 equals 5. I need to make my lines. If they're adding 2, I need to subtract 2. My 2's cancel off. I am left with my x. And if I subtract 2 on one side, I must subtract 2 on the other side. 5 minus 2 is 3. My answer is x equals 3. I do want to go back and check my work. Here's my original problem. X plus 2 equals 5, and then I plug the 3 in over the x. 3 plus 2 equals 5. Now, the terms we kind of preach in class is we talk about opposite land. Now, opposite land just is another way for students to understand that we have an inverse operation. The inverse operation is the opposite of what is happening in the problem. They are adding in the problem. In order to solve our problem, we need to do the opposite of adding. And in this case, it was subtract, subtract, subtract. And this is on page 303, and it is dealing with some of the basics of algebra.